Hi, fans. I'm the PC expert and amateur, and this is episode 56 of the airflow and pressure differential comparison of 120 millimeter fans. As always, I want to remind you that this is my anemometer or airflow meter, and it only has 4 decimal places for the area setting. I calibrated this against the Noctua A12 by 25, but unfortunately, because it doesn't have 5 decimal places, it has a bit of distortion. The larger the number for the airflow it gets, the larger the distortion is. I'm not a mathematician. I have no idea how to correct for that. So unfortunately, the numbers are going to be inaccurate, at least for the larger numbers. But I can't say at what point they start to become inaccurate, except for to say that the smaller numbers probably aren't a problem, like maybe from 150 down. But I can't say for sure. So the other thing is I don't have a job. I'm really close, precipitously close to being having evictions started against me, and I only have one donor on Patreon. Therefore, despite the fact that I continue to have lots of products to review, and I know it's hard for you to believe. You're probably thinking, well, I'm just lying to you, and I'm trying to trick you into sending me money. If you want to believe me or you don't want to believe me, that's your choice. Um, Obviously, either people don't believe me or they don't care. Um, but I get all these products that I've been showing you have, except for like my fans. Well, most of my fans. Some fans come from my donor site, and a lot of the keyboards and the mouses and everything else that comes from the donor site. And yeah, I just got a shipment, a small shipment from Silverstone, um, that the marketing manager sent to me to review. But and that's got a bunch of fans, and it's got a monitor riser, and it's got a couple of sound hubs or something like that. I think one of them is a DAC, a DAC. Um, I think which that means digital to analog converter. I'm not lying to you, but whether you choose to believe that or you don't is I have no control over it. I'm not eloquent enough to convince you. But to get back to the topic, the results are distorted, but they're consistent. So I still can use the airflow results to rank the fans from worst to best. Also, I use cubic meters per hour instead of cubic feet per minute. One of these days, I'm going to remember to add in the cubic feet per minute conversion column. I just keep on forgetting about it. I was thinking about it today, and then I forgot. Yeah. Um, the the pressure that I'm under right now is really kind of messing with me. All right, so let's move on. The fans, the Silenx Effizio 120, which the model number is EFX-12-12. The Endorfy Stratus. Endorfy used to be called Silentium. And the model number is EY4A007. The Coldwing, the Reeven Coldwing 12, which the model number is, where is that? I always forget where it is. There it is. RY1225S15B-RP. The Asus ROG Strix XF120, which is the model number is, where did that go? It's around here somewhere. XF120A1. And the Montech Air Fan P120. It's a 2-pack, which is why it says 2-in-1. It's not got 2-in-1 functions. So that's what we're going to look at today and see how they stack up against the 270 or so fans that we've already looked at. And just want to have you look at the RPM results and also look at pictures of the fans, and then see if you can figure out based on the pictures and maybe also the bearing type and the RPM testing results. See if you can figure out which fan will have the worst airflow and which will have the best, which will have the worst pressure differential, and which will have the best. And put those in the comments, save them, don't change them, because this is not a competition. It's just an opportunity to learn about fans. If that's something that you're interested in, most people don't seem to be interested, which I get. Probably a lot of people don't have a real interest in learning how to be able to evaluate fans based on their physical appearance, like things like the blade design, the distance between the blades, from side to side, the diameter of the hub, the frame design, the space between the blades and the frame, where the arms are, whether there's a screen or a grill, all that kind of stuff has an impact. And I don't blame you. It's not exactly exciting stuff for most people to learn about, and most people don't need to. But I get it. So let me put that on the screen for you, and you can take your guesses if you want. All right. So the slowest of them is the Silenx, which doesn't really surprise me. It's an older fan, although the Reeven is also old. And so it's rated at 1100, but came in 1190. The Montech is rated at 1500, came in at 1594.3. The Reeven is rated at 1500, came in at 1600. The Endorfy is rated at 1400, but came in at 1690, which is pretty significant. And that's 280, which is actually a little bit outside of the variance that's of 10%, because 280, which would be 1680, would be the top of the variance. So a little bit off there. And also, Endorfy has not released airflow and static pressure specifications for their fan, which is why you'll see on the next screen that there's no information that's published that I'm aware of, anyways, that I could find. The final one, which did the best for RPMs, which is nothing, but Asus, the 1800 rating, came out at 1880 in testing. Right. So go ahead and put your guesses down, but pause while you're doing that, and then we'll move on to the next screen, which is the airflow results. Unsurprisingly, the Silenx is the worst. Endorfy is significantly better, but still not great. And this result kind of suggests that it's not really that amazing of a fan. But until I do the static pressure testing down the road, we don't know for sure. The Asus did a bit better than the Endorfy, but not as well as I had expected. The Montech did significantly better than the Asus. I did have some problems because the Montech fans do not have a tack signal, which was, I hate it every time I find a fan that doesn't have a tack signal, because it tells me that they're cutting corners. They're saving money by not having a tack signal being transmitted on the third pin. The best for airflow, by a goodly margin from the Silenx at least, was the Reeven Coldwing for an old fan. That's pretty impressive. Although there are other old fans that also did really, really well in all of these comparisons. So now we'll look at pressure differential. Hopefully your guesses are panning out. But don't feel bad if they're not. So the Silenx was the weakest at 67 degrees. The Endorfy was a little bit better at 69. But again, not an impressive fan in my mind. The Asus was only 77, still better, but not and that'll put it in the fourth quartile. Whereas the Silenx and Endorfy will probably be in the maybe the third quartile. The Montech is at, oh my gosh, how did that get? I thought I got these numbers right. So hold on. All right, so the Reeven was in fourth place at 80 degrees, and the Montech was, sorry, not fourth place, second place, and the Montech was the best at 85. So the Montech has something going on for it. Obviously, if we look here, we see decent airflow. So it makes sense that They also had a really good pressure differential. We still don't know what the static pressure is. I would guess the static pressure isn't as impressive as the airflow. Sorry about the mix up here. I thought I got it right, but sometimes, far more often than I like, I forget to sort them. So now we're going to take a look at the overall list and see how these stack up against the other fans. And hopefully this will be useful for you. The most useful part, I think. All right, this is sorted on RPMs right now, and we can see that the Silenx rates in the first quartile, which means it's a slow fan. Now, if we move up, all right, so all the way up to here is the first quartile. So let's see what's in the second quartile. We've got the Montech and the Reeven, and then also the Endorfy, and that's the end of the second quartile. And then we have, so that's most of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Asus is in the third quartile. So nothing made it into the fifth quartile, but that's okay. You know, RPMs do make a difference. However, there is a limit to RPM's value in evaluating fans. So let's move on to pressure differential. $362 plus, oops, minus 290, 362 plus 72. I don't know why I keep on saying it that way. Nope.
I need to ask for your help. Things have been challenging. Whose life hasn't been challenging lately? So if you can please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications, that would be really, really super. Also, if you'd like to help me financially and you can't afford to, you can do a super thanks on my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, or you can become a member there. Or if you prefer, you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there instead. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Bleeping Computer for their support of my channel. If you need resources for computers, for getting rid of malware and learning about cybersecurity and stuff, Bleeping Computer, BLEEPING computer.com is a great resource. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.